everywhere, GBS.
The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Welcome to today's episode of Women's View. I'm your host, Anne Moremi. Happy New Month. It's February, the first week. I think you're allowed to say Happy New Month the whole week. So Happy New Month. It's also the month of love, and we're so excited that you're joining us. So today we are going to be having a couple in the house, and the topic is couples in business. You know, does it work or does it not work? So you see, February is about love, so we're looking at couples and seeing whether when you're in a business together, does it make your marriage thrive? Has it no effect on your marriage, or does it make it better? And things like that. And not just marriage, you see, it could also be relationships. So if you're in the same business with your partner, you know, for the sake of being politically correct, you know. So with me in studio, I want to just give a chance to everybody to introduce themselves. And as always, we'll start with my co-host, Karibu Sana.
Thank you. Hi guys, good to see you, or good to be seen by you. I don't know. Good to be with you. My name is Lillian Kamau. I'm the co-host, and I'm so happy to be here. Karibuni.
So Lillian,
Yes.
tell us, do you think do you know a few couples in business other than the ones in studio?
Yeah, I've met a number of couples in business.
Okay.
For some it has worked, for some it hasn't worked.
Okay.
Some people say that, you know, it's too much of each other in the same
all the
space.
time, yeah.
And then now other people say that it's easy to know that your interests are protected when your partner is in business. So I'm really looking forward to hear what this couple's take is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the couple in the house, I think we're going to go with ladies first, as always. Karibu Sana.
Hello viewers, my name is Mary Gitari and I'm the team leader at Brands Park PR.
Welcome to the show, Mary. All right, introduce yourself.
Okay, so hello viewers, my name is Paul Karinkiti and I'm in charge of strategy at Brands Park PR.
Ah, fantastic. Already I'm wondering, you know, in my head, I thought you're Paul Gitari, but you're Paul Karingithi. So I'm like, okay, and this is Mary Gitari, but it's okay, no worries. Maybe that's a way of separating. Is that intentional? You know, because I was expecting Paul Gitari.
What happened there?
First
Yeah.
things first, yeah?
Not that it matters, yeah, but just
For viewers.
for viewers.
For our viewers.
For our viewers, yeah.
Okay.
Am
Yeah.
I the one explaining? Okay. I think that separation came from the fact that even in my earlier career, everyone used to call me Paul Karinkiti.
Yeah.
So now when we started the business, it just made sense to continue because they knew me as that. Now starting to tell them I'm Paul Gitari, they'll be like, who is that?
Yeah.
But then for Mary, she was like, let me take the Gitari name. So when we walk into a boardroom, sometimes people don't think we're a married couple, and that sometimes helps.
And that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. You know, you're the head of strategy. That is a strategic thing. Because people don't need to be thinking that, okay, once we tell these people these things, they're going to go home in the kitchen, they'll be discussing us. In their bedroom, they'll be discussing us. You know, they don't know. They think these are two separate people. So that's already
That's a good strategy.
it's a good strategy.
Does it matter? Would you guys say that the names matter?
Yeah.
Like when you walk in and people immediately know you're married, do you think that there are some stereotypes that, have you experienced stereotypes because of being married?
So just for me, even just to start with the question where, what is that about the names?
Yeah.
Is in Kikuyu culture, I'm married to a Kikuyu, I'm Kamba, but married to a Kikuyu. So the naming is that the family name is the one that the husband, the boy child carries, the name of the father,
Yes,
isn't
yes,
it?
that's right.
And then the family name is his middle name. so to speak.
Yes.
So you'll find that Paul Gitari Karingiti. So we as a family
Yes.
are the guitarists.
Exactly.
So he remains as Paul son of
Yeah, son of
Karingiti.
Karingiti,
So
yes.
that is that's just following
The
protocol.
tradition. It was just following
It's a
protocol.
protocol.
It was not. It just worked,
It
to your
worked,
advantage. Not
yes.
that it was intentional
Yeah.
from the
So
beginning.
obviously, when I got married, I adopted the name Paul Gitari. I mean Mary
Mary.
Gitari.
Okay.
Married to Gitari.
Exactly.
You see. So that's the. It wasn't. It's not a conniving, hiding. But it works. The fact that now he's joined the business, because I was running the business by myself, and then he joined. So in terms of the stereotypes, there are people who definitely would not want to do business with a couple because they think they have their own thoughts. Nobody knows what people
the
will
thoughts
think.
are.
We don't know
Yeah.
the thoughts. But we find that when we come together and we do business, let's do business. It doesn't matter whether we are married or not. We are all representing our professional expertise on the issue. And then after that, if we are sitting together and I choose to open up to you as a friend and I tell you, oh, by the way, this is my husband. Now that becomes a separate conversation.
Yeah.
So we come together on the table as knowledge or as consultants, as professionals.
So,
who
so
know
you
what
never.
they're doing.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So you never go into a boardroom and say, "My name is Mary Gitari, and this is Paul Karingithi, and he's my husband."
No,
It never comes up.
because that's not the
That's
the
not
time
the
or the place.
purpose of the.
Yes, you've
Yeah.
not been asked even.
Nobody has even asked. You see,
Nobody
for me,
cares.
you know, the reason I'm asking is maybe obvious for you.
Yes.
Is it obvious for you?
No, it's not obvious.
not.
And then, I think some people have that pressure of if we are together, you must say that
your wife.
your person. Yeah.
I'm the main person in your life.
Yeah. You must declare.
Recognize.
Yeah.
There's somebody in this boardroom.
Yes.
Oh my God, we need to get to that question where you see you don't declare.
Yeah.
And here you are in a boardroom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, it's business first.
Yeah.
And of course, it's purely business. But now, for example, if now somebody wants to meet over coffee, because some people do meet even their partners and their spouses through work.
Yes.
If it happens, that's the point now you say, oh, by the way, the gentleman came. I know you didn't know, but he's my husband.
And you see, at any point, either way, you would have had to say
Yeah.
whether you're
Yeah.
married or not.
Yeah.
So you would then say, yes, I'm happy to come. Let me come with my husband.
Yeah.
Or if it's a social activity.
Yeah.
But it's always so important to have boundary lines whereby you're able to protect what is going on as a couple
Okay.
in your private life, and then what do you present on the
Yeah.
business table.
My question to you would be, have you ever had issues with public displays of affection in the workplace? Like, I know some ladies want to be held and hand-holding and name-calling. Like, honey and everything. Yeah, babe.
It doesn't happen at work. Like, you just pick the call. Oh, hi, babe.
Hi,
And,
babe.
maybe
Or like in a boardroom and maybe we're having a very important discussion and Mary's like, no, but babe,
I know,
this
it's
is
a
what I'm-
heated conversation.
do you have, have you ever had that issue?
No, I actually can't recall a time that we've had that issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's also due to the fact that before we worked separately, like we were employed in separate places, and in places that sometimes were competing against each other. So it was very there's no way that is ever gonna pop up.
There's no
Those
even
are
romance.
private things, yeah.
Yeah.
When you meet them leaving the boardroom, you're like, those guys are walking in to take that account from you guys.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we're rivals, we are not seen.
Yeah.
We'll discuss those things at home.
Yeah.
So I think now when we came now to be in the same company, it's actually never come up. Also due to the fact that we also have other nicknames. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I'll
Oh
be
yeah.
like, if I use her nickname, I won't then say babe, I most probably will say, Shori.
Yeah.
You use her nickname,
Yes.
which is also
So that
endearing.
covers.
That is so safe.
Exactly. It's very safe because it just looks like you're in the company. You have got very good teamwork, and you even refer to each other in using the
Casual.
nickname
It just
in
looks
a casual
casual.
way. It looks
Yeah.
like an easy casual way.
Yeah.
And I like that you brought that up, Paul, because so before you didn't start the business together like when you were dating. You said you were in rival companies,
Yes.
but in the same industry.
Yes.
Ah, so that means that you when you came together, there was some synergy you're bringing, because you're not trying to teach your spouse your job and they're not getting. As a learner.
Yeah, you know.
This is a problem.
That is a problem.
Yes.
I think, would you say that that is an advantage, the fact that you're actually, you see, for example, sometimes you can meet someone and then you get married to them and then you open up a business together and maybe only one of the partners is the expert. So the other one
Yeah.
joins and is more trying to learn. or
Trainee,
maybe,
graduate trainee.
you know, and so at home, it's the other way around here, you're the boss and you're the one who knows everything.
Yeah.
Does it, has it made it easier for you, the fact that you're in the same industry?
It has,
Yeah.
definitely, because what has happened is we come together as, even the titles, he is head of strategy, and I'm taking an administrative role in the business, which is the CEO role,
Okay.
and that means I'm in charge of the team,
Okay.
because I've always, in the other company, I was the client service director, meaning that my role naturally means that I nurture people. I'm more in touch with, what's happening with our clients. So by nature, then when we came into the business, it was easier for me to take up the CEO role.
Okay.
And also, he then, as the strategy lead, is coming in to bring his advice on how these clients we're going to develop for them strategic plans that will deliver the results that I have promised. So then it works well, that he already had that knowledge and he was already celebrated in his industry. So when he comes on board, he's a big addition to the team,
Yes.
as opposed to being looked at as that is Mary's husband.
Who doesn't-
Anapatiangwa tu kazi.
Amekuja kwa hii kampuni kwa sababu yeye ni
Au wakambao.
Yeah, he has
people
come to
don't
this
see him
company
as just
because
a freebie.
yeah, he's not. He's a valuable addition to the team,
Yes.
and whatever strategies he actually brings on board, deliver the results.
Exactly.
So my role and his role then complement our business, and it's able to help us to deliver on the promises that we're making.
Yeah, to your
Yeah.
clients. So wow.
What I'm thinking about is there's this, well, we can deviate a bit and just kill two birds with one stone.
Yes.
So you've worked in rival companies, and maybe there's a couple out there who are working in rival companies, and so sometimes the rivalry becomes heated and might affect the marriage. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
I think so. So we worked for two different advertising agencies, and they were not. I think we must have been like number 5 and number 6 on the ranking.
So very- very
agencies,
close,
Yeah.
right?
So mid-sized. So most of the times you were going for the same business, and there was the understanding that this is there has to be a separation. There's work which I'm employed to do, and I will do it to the best of my ability. Then there's home, there's marriage. So we can't then have a conflict that I bring home from work. Even if there are some places where we put a lot of work and they want the account. And I'm like, we
You
really
never used to
worked
feel
hard.
kiwaru.
No, not at all.
Excuse me.
Well,
Because when the next one comes and we
You're
win,
gonna
I'm
win.
like,
You
no,
win
now
some, you
it's-
lose
yeah,
some.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the skill always balances.
It does.
Most of the times.
Yeah.
And so if you get caught up with it, you will be a very angry person because you will
Yeah.
not always win.
Okay.
But I think it's just to look forward and say, hey, I'm glad they won that, but us guys let's look forward, which is the next one. How do we work hard so that we also have good insights for the next one? And I think just that element of letting it go. Because if you bring it home, that becomes a big issue.
Yeah.
And you will not always work for the same company. And you would always have the same role.
Always.
Yeah,
Your
I
roles
know.
will
Even
keep
the roles
changing.
will change.
But just to answer Lillian from a another perspective is, now what would be very upsetting is that if you came home and you knew that we were discussing this one client that
And there are two companies.
that took, I'm in company A and he's in company B, and both of us have this one secret insight or
Yes.
ingredient. And I happen to let him know as my husband.
Yeah.
He goes and uses it
To
in
win
the
the deal.
pitch
Yes.
to win the deal.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid, I'm found out
Yeah.
that the work actually was lost because I
Yeah.
gave him the secret ingredient, the secret sauce.
You can be
Now,
fired.
That's a
obviously,
crisis.
that's a crisis.
Yeah.
That's something that would definitely jeopardize our relationship, and would
Yeah.
because it means the two sources of income we were receiving. First of all, one of them has been cut. So in our industry, there's a lot of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, which we have to sign. So sometimes, if we, in that scenario, it would be that I love you, babe, but me, I know I'm winning.
We're
the
not,
account.
we're not discussing
There's
this,
something
right?
we're not discussing.
Don't ask me questions.
Let's
Because
not
in the process, I
discuss.
might
Let's not
forgive.
go in
I might
Yeah.
Avoid that,
Pillow
that
talk.
topic.
Yeah.
Pillow talk.
Avoid
No.
this topic.
Oh my.
So the non-disclosure agreements are there to protect that. And you see, it can happen with any friendship.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can happen with any friendship. So you have to be very careful of what are you promising the company that you have been hired by, and what are you promising this person. Obviously, you want them to win, but at what cost? Is it at your own detriment?
Yeah.
No.
Or yeah.
And I feel like even if you don't get caught,
Yeah.
that tension of how could you
How could you use that
use my
information
data?
against
will
you?
remain for so long.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's trust. It's
Yeah.
a trust issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I think just that fact that you're faster team,
Yeah.
so we can't jeopardize anything that we can't bring anything that jeopardizes this team.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that teamwork is like, hey, okay, you guys, let's see.
Yeah.
May the best person win.
Yeah.
And
then you
that
sharpen it
does
too,
help.
yeah.
It does.
What about
better.
people that have already crossed that bad bridge?
Which one?
The one of
Oh,
y-
I've told you something and you use it against
Yeah.
me. This is now when you're working in rival
In
companies.
rival,
yeah? And I feel
yeah.
like we're now talking more about rivals than in the same business. But which is okay, no problem. I mean, the conversation flows.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I'm finding interesting, Lillian, is these guys are outliers. Because
Yeah.
in a lot of companies, I don't know whether you'd say the same. Do you find that the CEO is a man and the non-CEO is a woman? Have you
Yeah.
already caught that, or it's just me?
No, it's
Maybe
there.
I'm biased.
It's there. It's there. It's really there. It's
Yeah.
really there.
I think it's impressive.
And it would really bother a lot of men
Yes.
when they feel like the woman is making more decisions. Yeah.
no, I've
And
seen
also
it.
the woman, when you come home, would you feel like, I am the CEO.
I'm smarter. I'm smarter than you.
I'm the CEO.
Yeah.
I'm the one giving orders.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't want to ask them. I just wanted to talk about it.
We gossip them a
We
bit.
gossip as they're here.
They're
We're
really-
not talking
yeah.
behind their backs. We're in front of
We're in
their,
front of
their
us.
It's not behind the back.
Oh my
Yeah.
But
God.
that is...
that actually also can be done for strategic decisions. Because, so let me give you a very good example.
Okay.
In Kenya, you're a youth until you're 35.
Yes.
And there are certain contracts and tenders that are reserved for you.
Yes.
But ukifika 35 unatoka, mtu anarukanga.
Yeah.
Like, oh, 35.
It's a wrap.
Okay, utatoka nje, umekuwa mzee. But
Mzee
once
anyway,
for
you do.
women,
Yeah.
they continue
Oh.
forever.
Irrespective of the age.
Yeah.
And there's also a fund also for
Exactly.
that.
So it makes more sense to actually have a woman-led business because there's also opportunities for that.
So
and
you actually
that
have it in
actually
both
becomes
ways.
very strategic because you're able to then say, but we are a woman-led business. And it's not only her, like our officers, but I'm in the minority. I need to be defended.
No, I'm
Because
actually
it's
seeing...
4 women and
See,
one
the
guy.
way
yeah,
you're head of
so
strategy, that is a strategic decision.
It is
That
a
Yeah.
makes so
strategic
much
decision,
sense.
yeah.
And that is a win for your company, as opposed to just wanting to be the head because you're the man, and then now you can't access the women's fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on paper, it
Good
has
for you,
to
Paul.
be.
I like that.
Yes. On paper, it has to be that I have more shareholding. I have to be the CEO, but our company has taken up a very linear organizational structure, which is flat.
Yeah.
And therefore we are all making decisions because we're small. We're 5, but then obviously when projects come in, we're able to plug in more people and grow to be able to deliver. Therefore, nowadays with the whole collapse of the corporate, I find that
what is it called? The organogram.
yes,
No.
yes, it has collapsed as more startups are becoming. the ones who are funding the economy. A long time ago, the organizational structures used to be very president, vice president,
Exactly.
managing director, group organizational, it was very big,
Yeah.
and everybody was being paid by, you had to climb the ranks. It was permanent and pensionable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, any young person can come up with an idea. Think of the M-Pesa person and make billions. So you see, what is this that this big organogram is giving us? If the person at the bottom can actually deliver on this idea
Yeah.
and make money for the organization more than the person at the top.
So that has
So
actually
this is
happened to
across the world. We're finding that connectivity, that global village concept,
Yes.
it's really flattened structures. So there's no need to have the title. I mean, he has got no. There's
doesn't
no
mean-
extra leverage
Exactly,
for
I
him
get
to
it.
be CEO, especially from a strategic perspective. If the women's fund is there, if women are being funded more and being given more opportunities in the
Yeah.
boardroom, therefore, we are taking advantage of this, but also it's not affecting that now I am the decision maker in this organization.
CEO doesn't cook.
Madam CEO. So we're just called Mary and Paul in the office. Everybody makes decisions. Everybody sees what's coming in, what's going out. There's that whole has just been wiped out. That all those structures, they've really helped young people who are considering to be in business together. It's so much easier working from home with COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just because you're CEO not cooking lunch.
I
Excuse.
know. Come on, really, not a big deal.
Please,
And if
it's
it has
not a
collapsed,
big
it
deal.
should also collapse even in your mind, and
Yes.
you completely accept the linear structure.
Exactly.
And that way you appreciate everything that everybody is bringing, and you can
Yeah.
even listen better
Yeah.
because you know that your next big idea could come from
It could come from anybody.
in
I
the
could be the
organization.
one. It could be
Yeah.
the person who's a so and so quote unquote our intern, whatever it is. So
It's true.
we have to be more accommodating and just reduce. I like what you said about killing the structures in our minds, because they're in
Yeah.
our minds.
It's in our minds. You see,
Yeah.
that's why
They're not
we're having
really
this
there.
conversation, because the two of us, we didn't know that by above. Okay, maybe we have known it now. It's in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do you have an experience that you can share with us of a very difficult disagreement that you had and how you handled it?
Well, which one can you think of? There are several. They happen all the time in marriage and in business because
Yeah.
we're two different.
One in business, because I feel like it would be
Yeah.
so hard to separate tension in the workplace and
at home.
when you go home.
Yeah.
Like for example, when you're interviewing, so you get an interviewee and you both part of the panel,
Yes.
and then maybe one person feels this is the right person, the other feels this is not, and it's a position. Has that ever happened, by the way?
Well,
That's one of the experiences
That's-
where you
yeah.
go, where you take different
opinions,
opinions,
perspectives. Yeah.
and now which one will carry the day? How does that work?
I think the one example I can remember that was very heated. In fact, it's just come back to my head. And then you know how you tighten.
At least
your
you're
body
laughing about
tighten.
it. You're like, what? You remember that one?
Yeah, it was 2017. I'll never forget because our business had gone through a very serious cycle. I think business have cycles. One was up, one was so we had gone up to a very negative cycle, and we needed to just make strategic decisions. And I had been praying, obviously, insert prayer here as a woman. I'd been praying for a long time and asking God, what are we going to do? We're not able to afford salaries. I had just taken a loan from one of the chairmans that I was in to pay salaries for that month of February. And we're not looking like we're going to get out of this.
Okay.
And therefore, we were paying for an office space that was quite big.
Yeah.
So we used to have a big agency. It was a full service. We offer advertising, we offer PR, we offer media buying services. So it was in a house. It was still affordable, but it's those houses that are converted into offices. And so we had the whole top floor. You know, so and then at the bottom they had leased the other houses, the other rooms to other businesses. So the plot thickened when now we couldn't even pay salaries, And then now we had to pay this whole top floor. So I'm telling these people, and I was the only, I think we were very few women at that time. The whole creative department led by him had
We are all guys.
all men, like 4 men or 3 men, I forget the number. And I'm telling them, you guys will have to give up this room so that we all now squeeze into one room, give it up, lease it or whatever, so we begin to cut down on our expenses.
Yeah.
No.
You remember?
It was
You do not
fight.
want to be cramped in one place, all
I
of
know.
us.
No,
You know,
Yeah.
we live in the
Nice
same house, and
creative
then now we
space.
live in one room office.
Or, I mean, and then
It
he
was
also
hard.
brings up an interesting perspective of creativity. You know,
Yeah,
creatives
no.
have
I
that
know
thing of
exactly.
I need
this
my
space
vibe.
is
Zen.
zen.
Flow of,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
it was nice. It was so nice because it used to open up to a balcony. It, you know, they could sit and dream.
Yeah.
Whatever it is they were
Yeah.
creating. And
Yeah.
I was telling them to leave that for financial purposes.
I know.
Hey, I remember the doors that were banged.
Doors were banged.
This
Doors
is not
were
making
banged.
sense.
Voices
Yeah.
were raised.
Voices were raised.
Yeah.
You know, when they're here, they look so neat
I
and
know,
nice.
polite and proper.
And Christian.
Christian.
Yeah.
No, you have some very,
It
because
was-
it's a tough
There's some
decision to
moments,
make.
yeah.
Because you're looking at it and then you're saying the money coming in is not making sense, but maybe we can survive so we don't have to give up the space. But then you're
Yeah.
like, either way you decide, something's got to give.
Something, yeah.
And you're really enjoying the space, but now you have to move everyone to a smaller space, more cramped, go behind the house, to the back, not
No
at the
view.
front, with no view.
Ah.
I know, no view. Like the view is not bringing money.
I know.
Yeah, so those heated. So you argue, you say,
Yeah.
we have no resolution, you walk away.
I know.
Say, okay, let's try this tomorrow. Because then you have to come to a resolution. 'cause
That's true.
time is not waiting for you.
Yeah.
But guess what? That can happen in any company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just that I guess when you're a couple in business, you just need to separate it. I like what you said about separating
Yeah.
issues. Home is home and business is business.
Yes,
Because
yes,
even in a business where all of you are not related, you have different opinions.
Obviously.
But then the respect is usually, I think, more.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Or
hearing
you
is
can just leave. You know,
you can compartmentalize,
compartmentalize
and then when you
and
go home, you're not saying the same.
You're not saying
before.
the password. That's the problem.
So here you are, you're disagreeing with this person, then maybe you ride home together, then you go home together, and you keep looking at them and you're like, you refuse my idea. I mean,
Why are you not getting
yeah,
it?
you're
I've
not
been
getting
trying
it.
to explain.
Yeah.
So I think, and you know, women, a lot of us, we find it harder to compartmentalize.
Very.
Yeah.
Everything
You know,
is
men-
connected.
Yeah, men can easily just get into that box of work and home. So
Yeah.
I think the challenge maybe is for you, Mary.
Definitely. And I find that I've actually matured a lot in my
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
because when we're in the office and we have to come up with a quick decision, we are, I mean, we take time out, we ask ourselves, what are we going to do about this? We decide, we move on.
Yeah.
So I find that that has actually helped us even in the home.
Yeah.
And knowing and expecting that, just what you said, Anne, it's not likely that this person is going to see my view
Yeah.
in the way that I am, you know,
Seeing it.
the way it is in my mind, it's so solid. Then working with the other people helps me to appreciate that it's not just him who is opposing my view.
Yeah.
It's actually, you know, everybody in that room has their own view. Some
Yeah.
people will agree, another person will disagree.
Yeah.
So now I end up seeing it very objectively.
Yeah.
I see that just because he's disagreed with me doesn't mean he loves me less.
No. Yeah.
Because then what am I going to say about the other person who works with me or the other
Yeah.
person? So it's I'm not agreeing with the particular issue,
Yeah.
but that does not mean that I don't love you.
Exactly.
So I have to have a very clear, my love bank has to be 100% filled,
Yes.
so that all these others are just, you know, opinions that can be moved.
Yeah.
And I have opportunities to ask him, what if we think about it like this? What if we, so I constantly change my thinking to accommodate what his view is, and he's also constantly doing that. So that has really filtered into the marriage as well. Yeah, it's positive.
And I think also just because in church we do a course fondo and we do it every year, it reminds you
Yes.
you have to fight fair.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not saying It's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
You have to fight fair.
You can't stay at, in the middle of a meeting, then you're like, yesterday the kids they want fed, they didn't sleep well. And like you're talking about finances.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've just put that is fighting unfair.
That's fighting
And you're
unfair.
bringing in this one to this other issue,
The children are out of school because you have refused to take a smaller room.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can't bring
Yeah.
that up.
We're suffering at home
Oh
because,
my goodness.
because of the view
of the view.
your view.
And it's so easy to go there. I
Very.
feel like it's here. It's so near.
It's very
always-
easy to go there.
Yeah.
So you have to always remember and
Yeah.
then put the issue on pause. go
All right,
back,
guys,
change,
guess what?
come
We need
back.
to take a break.
A break.
Yeah, so viewer will be right back. Keep it here.
Theology schools were established to prepare people to preach the clear gospel of Jesus Christ. They were designed to teach the truths of the Bible and to build an unwavering faith in God. However, as time has passed, theological institutions found themselves placing the thoughts of man above the Word of God. It's time to look past rigid and theory-centric theological curricula and return to a true study of the Bible that will instill faith in our hearts and strengthen our spirits. Good News Theology School offers practical, flexible, and affordable systematic study of the Word through insightful lectures, engaging student-led projects, and heart-to-heart fellowship with classmates and professors alike. Good News Theology School is where future servants of the gospel learn how to preach the light of Jesus Christ to those who are stuck in sin and despair. Register today and become a missionary of Christ, no matter where you are.
My name is Tigist Hailu.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruben West
I'm Dr. Charles Mukuka
from the United States of America.
I come from Ethiopia.
from Zambia.
I love Kenya very much.
I love the Kenyan people.
Love is not by confession. Love is by action.
Come on now.
When you are a husband, you are not a husband.
It's very important.
You can count the seeds in an apple, but you can never count the number of apples in a seed.
Her phone is a phone. My phone is my phone.
You only know what you know.
Who forced you?
The more you spend time together, the more strong you.
A woman is like a Bible.
Could tell me that they were born and it wasn't from a female. I'd like to know.
A woman, she's a good asset. And a woman, she's a very, very good investment.
My name is Tigist Hailu.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruben West
I'm Dr. Charles Mukuka
from the United States of America.
I come from Ethiopia.
from Zambia.
I love Kenya very much.
I love the Kenyan people.
Love is not by confession. Love is by action.
Come on now.
When you are a husband, you are not a husband.
It's very important.
You can count the seeds in an apple, but you can never count the number of apples in a seed.
Her phone is a phone. My phone is my phone.
You only know what you know.
Who forced you?
The more you spend time together, the more strong you.
A woman is like a Bible.
Could tell me that they were born and it wasn't from a female. I'd like to know.
A woman, she's a good asset. And a woman, she's a very, very good investment.
Everywhere, GBS.
All right, welcome back, viewer. Remember that we are on YouTube and Facebook, GBS TV Africa. And if you want to send us an SMS, the number to use is 21144. So this is month of love, February, and we have a couple who not only live together. Of course, couples always live together, but this one's work together. And we were like, wow, does it work or does it not work? So we were basically talking a little bit about are there times when it actually will not work? For example, if the marriage, let's say, if the marriage doesn't work, and here you are, you have a business together with a lot of interests, and the marriage has failed for other reasons. What are the chances of the business surviving?
I think the chances are low, because then it means one person has to leave. You know, with separation, it's reflected now on all levels. You see, so it's reflected at the business level, it's reflected at the social level, it's reflected at the whatever, at the now marriage level, the family level.
Yes.
So it means that there has to be some form of agreement of, does the business stop, we all go out and do different things, or does it now one person continue with it and this other person leaves? So think of any partnership as well. There are
Even
partners,
Amazon.
yes,
Didn't
who
that happen?
disagree. So
one left, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's I think sometimes we put a lot of social taboo on these things.
Yeah.
Marriages are just partnerships.
Yeah.
That you decide you're going in the same direction. One day somebody offloads from the bus.
I know.
Anadondoka.
Kudondoka. You know, the bus is moving. It slows down kidogo. There's like a red light. The person has stopped.
You know.
And then now you may even start moving in the opposite direction.
Exactly. So do you proceed? Do you continue, or do you even stop the bus and wait?
Yeah. Pause.
You know, and to recall,
start
to
looking for the
reflect,
person
and
under
you
the bus.
look for them. You look for the person.
So confusing.
It's very confusing, and it's a crisis. I always say that a lot of our lives are filled with crisis moments, and these crisis moments help us to reflect and ask ourselves, am I going to be overcome by this crisis?
Yes.
Do I rise above it, or does it, what do I learn from it?
Yes.
So we have had business partners. When we started out as a business, it was a very romantic idea. We were in campus, and my dear husband here came up with the idea that we were all going to work together, because we were studying the same program in Daystar University. Everybody had amazing skills. We all knew we were going to secure each other's future. So we said, go, you get experience, and then we're going to come and start a company. All of us under one roof called, was it called Soul Food?
Oh, yeah, something like that.
Soul Food.
Yeah.
Even called name.
Very romantic idea.
Where are you going? I'm going to Soul Food. Let's meet at Soul Food. You're like, is that a restaurant?
Where do you work?
Soul Food. Wow. Do you sell food?
Yes, because we based on a series that was on TV.
Yeah. Do you remember the series?
Because we used to hang out
It
at the
inspired
time.
you.
Where, yeah,
How did that
yeah,
go,
that's
Paul?
Soul Food.
Was it gonna be a PR company? Sorry.
No.
It was multi creative. Yeah.
So I think we all went out. This happened, I think, 10 years after. And so a friend invited us, invited Mary and a friend of ours called Janet into a business. That ran for a bit of time, then it didn't work out. So
9
we
months.
were actually going back to employment. Like,
His soul food haijawork. And you see here, were you married then?
No, well, when we were dreaming about it, we were all in campus and not married.
Yes.
And he was the vision bearer. He sold the vision to all of us and said, cheers, awesome. But then we all had to get internships for us to graduate. So we got internships, we got jobs, and that's what he was saying now. 10 years later, after, campus, is when we were able to start the process of business or entrepreneurship.
Wow, you held the dream for long.
We're still friends, obviously. That's the thing about having adult friendships. It's very hard to find new ones.
It is. You just gotta stick with the
You
old.
stick
Old
with
is
these
gold.
ones. They're like,
Old is gold.
where do I go from? You know where I live, you know my
Yeah.
parents, So I think maybe you want to proceed from there.
What happened? Why didn't it work? You know, when I said did it work, you're like, no, what happened?
I think it was because they joined an existing business. So already there was an issue of shareholding versus work versus income.
Reality checked
Yeah,
it.
you know, so when I'm working the hardest, so
get
okay,
it.
this is not making sense. How do we then rationalize it so we feel like we're getting a bit more value?
Yeah.
And then there was no agreement on that. So the idea was, okay, you know what, we've helped you, let's go back. You know, we were employed, we were earning money.
Yeah.
And we put that on hold to help you with business. Let's go back and see if we can make some money. But at that particular point, just when they left, a client came and said, where are those two ladies?
Yeah. Now the client wants
Yeah,
them.
and then she called them and said, I have a job for you. And we were like, but we have no companies. Like, set one up.
Wow. That's
This
how.
work has to be done.
Yeah.
And so that's how the agency got born. Now the second time. So the client came and another client came. So then we were like, this is actually working. Okay, let's look for a name. What do we need to register?
And now you could get the shareholding rights.
Yeah.
Because you started it from scratch as opposed to a one
Joining.
you bought into.
Yeah.
So how do you think they work? Do they have like a contract with each other? Like everything you talk, do you have to follow up, back it up with a contract, or do you just say, I'm your wife, I'm your husband?
Well, I think to me it looks like there must be an element of trust. I don't think it's possible to put every possible thing on paper.
Yeah.
But you know, that trust, have you ever felt like it was broken at any one point and then now you had to put it on paper? Like if this happens next time, this must not happen.
Yeah. We need to have a contract about this, you know?
I think business evolves. So our first business told us about shareholding.
Yeah.
But the second business also told us about the other element of shareholding. Because equal shareholding means you're basically, there's no one person leading, but then also at the dissolution part, when somebody wants to exit, what do you do? And those are some of the things you need to decide at the very beginning. So you keep on learning in business. So
And you can't think of all scenarios.
No.
Sometimes scenarios show up and you're like, hey, where did this come from? You know? Like, for example, maybe somebody who is a client sends flowers to Mary. And you're there and you're like, I didn't send flowers. This is Imetokawa. In this contract, these people, what are they doing to my wife? Does that, you know, it happens.
Yeah, how do you deal with those things, those in between?
Are you like so mature that you feel, thank God my wife is loved?
She's beautiful.
That client, we don't want them.
Yeah.
In fact, that client has not paid. Why are they buying flowers and they have not paid us?
Yeah.
Pay us first.
Pay us first, yeah. And vice versa.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. When, you know, there's
Curve balls.
Curve balls.
Curve balls.
Yeah.
Does it happens, yeah?
It does. It does. It happens, and we've had to be honest and ask ourselves: are we going to continue with this client who seems to be interested in one of us? You know, it's not easy. I have to say, it's not easy. But then we're still learning. I don't think there's one day you ever finish. But we're through. I think what he said is through the program that we do in church. We called. There are several. There's one called Couples and Money, but Ndoa is the one that we offer our service. We volunteer, and we do this because we have to keep learning. How do we handle those things? How do we prioritize our friendship? How do we prioritize our love relationship? Because that is what all these things are now being born out of. All the creativity. You know, it does say two are better than one. When one falls, it doesn't say if one falls. It says when one falls. And so another thing is also not to be surprised. I think that's what we learn in these indoor classes, that the expectation you have of this person is that you're the only one who loves them. You're the only one who finds them attractive. You're the only one, you know, who the apple of your eye.
And if they're good to you, you think there's nobody else who has noticed.
Exactly, exactly. So the truth is, I have to be able to understand that the same way I see him is the same way as a woman better or in a more advantageous position than me is seeing him. And they might do anything to, you know, want him closer to them. So what am I doing? What am I doing to ensure that I'm building this relationship?
CCTV.
And you tap their phone. And
You're
you
like,
tap their laptop.
I've been in your office for 5 minutes, and that story ended after 1 minute. I don't know what the 4 minutes has been going on.
Yes. I feel like you have got to be so mature.
Yes,
like to
I can
the top
tell that
level
a
of
lot.
mature. Yeah.
You've got to be willing to grow as a person.
Yeah.
You
Because
have to
actually,
grow
if you,
as a
if you
person.
don't,
And that's what
it
the
can't
content
work.
teaches you. The
Yeah.
content teaches you that what are your expectations?
Yeah.
What are, and then how do you communicate? What's the right time?
you can't go
What-
shouting in the
what's-
office, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it that you value? What is your vision as a couple together? Because those big rocks are the ones that keep you together. Not this. Where were you from 5 to 5:41? Because the meeting ended at 5:30.
You know.
So when you are
Eish,
policing, you know, it's
Yeah.
very easy for somebody to come up with a lie to make you happy.
Yeah.
Because then the only thing that is they're staying with is that this person thinks I am the best person on the planet. But when I know I'm married to a sinner,
And you're a sinner.
and I'm also a sinner,
Yourself,
and
yeah.
therefore accepting that is so big. It's so big. It's like it's exactly how when you bring employees into your company,
It can also happen.
expecting them to be perfect
Yeah.
is it's close to madness, isn't it? You have to give them guidelines that you work with. Obviously there's that, yes, if you cross this you are terminated. It's
Exactly,
different,
yeah.
definitely, but the point is that somehow your expectations are always managed. That when you had a plan, that when this person steals, this is how we are going to deal with it,
Yeah.
at least. So the ideas are to keep discussing, okay, what happens if, what happens when I fall? You
Yes.
know, two are better than when one falls,
The other
the
one can
other
lift
one
you up.
can.
Yeah.
It
Not
should,
must.
it
They can.
it should be that they are there to
Yeah.
walk the journey with you.
Yeah.
And I really thank the content that we've been consuming over time, because a lot of things could have flawed us if not us pursuing this journey of self-knowledge and understanding and growing up. Committing to growing up is hard. Adulting is hard.
Adulting is hard. Yeah, adulting is hard.
Other business. So
Yeah.
there's an aspect of the marriage and the relationship, and then there's the business.
Yeah.
So also we discovered that in business, most of the times we are all in separate places doing different things. And we've got an opportunity to go sit in a space that has got other businesses. And those guys share those lessons. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. You're able to ask a question and somebody will tell you, this is how I navigated it. So for us now, we sit at a place called the Sandbox. And when you ask those businesses, because they're businesses which are the same, possibly have been running the same amount of time, they're able to tell you, this one, this is how we navigated it.
Yeah.
For this one, we just ran
You're
away,
not
we
alone.
refused, we
The
said,
mentorship,
no.
even in couples.
And guess what, guys? Time is up.
Oh,
so
no.
Please give your parting shot.
And their contacts also.
And their contacts, if people want to reach you. Maybe there's a couple struggling in their business, and the business is doing well, but the marital issues are affecting even the profitability of the business, and it's a good idea. Maybe they can reach out,
Communication, yeah.
Because I'm hearing you've got a lot of additional skills other than the work
Yes.
that help you to do this. So please, maybe one of you, maybe Paul, give your contacts, and then because time is not on our side at all.
Okay, so if you would like to reach to us, if I give my email address, paul.karinkiti@transpark.co.ke, or my telephone number, 0721678828.
And the website for
So Sandbox is www.sandbox.ke, and Brandspark is www.brandspark.co.ke. We're based in Nairobi, so you can find us.
Oh yeah, right. You're on social media, of course.
Yeah.
Lila, you can wrap the show for us and give a
Oh, okay. Thank you for your company, and all I've had today is mentorship, and adulting is hard. It's not, when you come into a very hard moment, just remember it's not supposed to be easy. Those hard times will come, and I wish you a blessed week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for your company.
All right, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Everybody, let's go!